Okay, welcome to the Crackdown Comedy Club. We've got a guest.
Our first guest in studio.
Damo Clark, welcome.
Hey, thanks very much.
And Aideen McQueen.
Oh my God, thank you so much. I can't believe I'm your first guest.
Yay.
Yeah, we tried a few people and no. Delighted to have you. You're also one of the best friends of the club as well.
Thank you very much.
One of the regulars, always rip it.
That's good. That's good to know, except that one time maybe, but let's not talk about that.
Yeah. You're always writing your stuff, but you're back and forth. You live in London, technically, isn't it? You're
Technically,
back and forth,
yeah, for tax reasons, I live in London. But
and free healthcare reasons? Is that
free healthcare reasons. Yeah, I was in hospital. I just got a phone call from debt collectors. I was like, what? I was in A&E and I forgot to pay them. And now they've got like the feds on me.
Oh,
Is
good Lord.
Wait, in which A&E? UK?
In Dublin, because the A&E is free in England. Yeah.
Oh, so you
So I have to
usually
pay it.
people have like, I don't know, the government. Well, it sort of is government agents, but they're all like nurses and doctors chasing you down.
Yeah.
Hiding behind newspapers and peeking over with their stethoscopes.
You must feel horrible as a debt collector who's following someone who's just out of A&E, you know, someone who's there in a wheelchair because of an accident. And they're like, just life is recovering. And then this is your job, is it? Track that person down and get money out of them.
Yeah, it was awful. And she was Scottish. So I can see why they outsourced it to Scotland, because she was kind of terrifying. Do you know what I mean? I'm here to collect your debt. You were recently in A&E, like about 4 months ago. And
all right, Paul, have you got 100 quid?
Okay, thanks, Begbie. Yeah, I'll definitely give it to you. Definitely give it to you.
Where's the money?
Yeah, and yeah, so I remember getting a letter.
Are you sure this was a debt collector, not just a junkie? Who's...
Yeah.
All right, Paul, hey, how you doing?
Glaswegian woman just like, I know what to do. Make up numbers in era and ring them, those fucking Egypts. But so yeah, it's just, I saw the letter and I was like, oh, I assumed that was like a receipt for, being in the hospital. Thank you for staying with us and how wonderful. I just didn't open it. So yeah, I had no excuse. I had nothing to come back with. I was like, yeah, I know I owe you money. That's fair enough. And can I pay with card? And she was like, no, you can't. Pay with blood.
Yeah.
No, she didn't. I can pay with card. It's fine. But yeah, annoying because you just kind of expect those things to be free when you're living in England, and they're not.
They're not in Ireland.
No.
But that is a sad thing. It's like, yes, I survived. I'm out. I'm free. And then every day,
Yeah.
pay up, no.
I have a friend who
That's
did
more of an
a
northern
J1 in America, and healthcare is insanely expensive there. Like if an ambulance picks you up, it's thousands and thousands, and then night in the hospital, whatever. So he went on a bender and doesn't know what happened. Maybe he got hit or fell, smacked his head. Anyway, he woke up in hospital. So obviously he realized, right, the first thing, he's a resourceful man. He was the first thing he thought. He woke up, he was like in a hospital gown, looked around, had a few bruises. He was like, this is going to be really expensive. and there was a drip attached to one of his, to the vein, and he just was like looking around. There was no one coming into him for like a few minutes, and he pulled the needle out and just walked out in his hospital gown, just like kind of like around corners, waited for like a clear, and just walked straight out and never.
His ass flapping in the breeze.
Couldn't find his clothes. He was just like,
okay?
He was fine, but he was like, he never heard from them. He was just like, I'm not paying for like 10 grand for.
What happened to him? Like he was clearly in pain or something.
He doesn't know. I think he probably had a concussion on a bad night, and then someone called an ambulance. Ambulance picked him up. He was hammered, and he just woke up with a.
So if it happened in Ireland, they would just send him home with the taxi and tell him to have 2 Red Bulls the next day, prescribe him some Solpadeine. But in America, oh my God, he's gone Irish on us. We got to get him hospitalized. $6,000.
They should hire Scottish people.
Yeah.
That's everywhere. When you hear a Scottish accent on the phone, you're like, oh no, I owe a healthcare company something.
Yeah, it's such a hard job, and I tried to be nice to her, but I couldn't really be nice. That's hard, just ringing people who owe money because they're in hospital. Like that's like shoplifting from Oxfam or something, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's just horrible. I felt bad for her, but then I was like, the economy isn't that bad, babe. You can up your ideas.
I haggled a bag from Oxfam. I haggled.
Did you?
Yeah, I had €5 on me. There was a €7 Jansport big rucksack. I was like, what? That is an amazing deal. You know those traveling rucksacks? They're like 100 quid.
Yeah.
It looked in good condition. And I had €5. And I was just like, look, I've got €5. I'm about to go traveling and I'm just find it really hard. She was like, yeah, just take the fucking bag. Go on.
You even played it down.
Yeah.
Like you handed it in the first place. That you found on the ground. You're like, oh, actually, I need that now. Yeah. And then speaking of the Scottish people, you were approached by Britain's Got Talent.
I was indeed.
So you were scouted. We'll talk. I want to hear more about that because we can play a clip from the club first because you were in with us this week.
So true.
And what happened? This is the clip where you were talking to a couple of people in the crowd about photos now and then.
Well, it wasn't just about photos now and then. It's actually the whole theme of my hugely intuitive comedy was the difference between being a slut in the 90s and a slut now. Now it's all like slut power and like, you know, sexual openness and body positivity. But it wasn't like that in the 90s. And, you know, we couldn't do all the stuff that you wanted to. You didn't have Instagram. Like you could just be total slut on Instagram as long as you pair it with an inspirational quote. And we didn't have sex education and we didn't have sexy selfies. We couldn't take nudes. So this is how difficult it was, the lengths you had to go to take a nude in 1998. What's your name? Naomi. Look at you. You're a gorgeous girl, but why are you dressed like a little boy from the 80s, right? I'm sorry, but if I had your figure, I'd be wearing a bikini on a night out, right? That is, look, you need to slut it up more, Naomi. That's all. That's just a note. Right? Okay. Thank you so much. She said, you see, it was a weird, I kind of negged her there. I insulted her and I complimented her like I read the fucking game. Right? That's how much of a super slut I am. Anyway. So I want Naomi to actually die. I want to be able to say a girl died in my gig from laughing too much. And look at her, there's pee coming down her leg. You see, she's going to cry now. Okay. Okay, anyway, so Naomi, do you know how difficult it was for me to send a nude in 1998? That was hard. Tough shit. Oh, you girls just bang them out now. You probably have good ones that you keep spare, right? You know when you have diarrhea and you take one because the stomach is flat and you keep that for a few lads, right? I mean, a nude in 1998, I used to have to go and get a camera, right? No idea what this camera, the photos looked like. You'd be just like, right? In your Primark push-up bra. I mean, you could have red eyes and red nipples when it was developed. And then you had to take this fucking thing, this big blocky 90s box, and go to a pharmacy, right? Imagine having to take a dick pic and go to a pharmacy. I don't know why I'm staring at you when I'm saying dick pic, but you seem like a lad. What's your name? Calvin, you seem like a lad. Like I can see you doing laddish things like eat the sausage roll and having a wank at the same time. Like, yeah, he can do it. You've got skills, Calvin. And that was, in case you didn't see over it was a delicate move that he used. I mean, he wasn't like, Arr! He was just like, da, 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 da. It was like playing the harp. It was beautiful, Calvin. Right? I mean, you'd get this blocky camera thing with your hopefully sexy photo in it, and then you'd have to bring it to a pharmacy, and then you would look at the counter and hope to fuck Mary O'Shaughnessy wasn't working there that day, because she used to be a Eucharistic minister with your mother, and she would fucking tell on you.
Hey. Aideen McQueen, that was great. And Calvin did demonstrate in the air his technique.
Oh my, it was as if he was waiting to be asked that question all his life. Like, didn't faze him, didn't knock a shake out of him. He's like, yeah, I can do that. And then he did a very artistic movement. Like, you know, like the blind Harper O'Carolan, like, da, 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 da. It's fantastic. It was, I hope I can marry that man. A boy, whatever he was.
Yeah. Top night.
Great. So you got asked to go on Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah, so as you heard from that clip, I'm clearly very family friendly. I'd be ideal for it. There'd be nothing wrong now with me going in front of Simon and Amanda and whatever other weird celebrity they have on it and just saying all of that. Kids love it. Do you know, I get asked to do parties all the time for 6-year-olds. Yeah, so I don't know how they found me.
Just point to an actual child, go, why are you dressed like a little boy?
Yeah, why? Because I am a little boy.
You got to slut it up, little girl.
Oh, shit. Who let all these kids in? Come on, Britain. There's no kids in Britain?
Why are all these kids overdressed? Come on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, look at your body. You're at least a size 5 to 6 years. You should be wearing something way more tight than that.
Put on a bikini, kid. Yeah. What the hell is wrong with you?
I know. But it does bother me when I see girls, they're dressed like something out of The Handmaid's Tale because they think it looks indie. And I'm like, you won't have that body for another 10 years. Just slut it up now.
Yeah, save that for when you're 98 years old.
Yeah, exactly. Because as soon as they start getting older, then it's like they actually do look like grandmothers. And it's like, no. So yeah, Britain's Got Talent. Somebody approached me and
In a club?
not in a club.
club.
Somebody
Nowhere?
approached me in a club. No, do you come here often? Yeah, I'm doing the gig. No, they approached me on Instagram, which is where they live now. These guys, Instagram and
Really?
TikToks, and they have all their spidery veins out. And I really find your posts really funny. We were wondering if you could do an interview with us about going on Britain's Got Talent. So I said to them, have a look at my stuff that's online. I feel we mightn't be quite the match that you think.
This
we
is
are.
my clean stuff, the stuff that makes it online.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
This is as clean as it gets.
Yeah. You want to hear some of my WhatsApps to my ex-boyfriend, like voice notes.
Send them some of that.
Yeah.
How about these clips?
Yeah, like Twink when she gave out to her husband, zip up your Mickey love and all that. Yeah. So I just sent them off. I was polite.
That's the most obscure reference we've ever had.
Sorry
on this.
about that. Yeah. You
By the
remember
way-
it, do you, Damo?
Yeah, just a side note. So Twink is I arrived like too late. I missed the Twink days where she was like on TV all the time.
Yeah.
Panto, sort of. How would you describe Twink?
No, I barely remember. I saw her
Celebrity.
once.
You were really not enjoying this Twink thing. Yeah,
No, I was young. I just don't
You were
know.
very young. She was a TV personality when you didn't have to actually have talent. You just had to be blonde and just shout a lot. And people
Yeah,
loved
but
her.
she had talent. Like, she was
She was
quick,
funny.
witty,
Yeah, she
real
was, yeah.
funny and
Yeah, she did ads and stuff like that.
So
and
she was an actor.
She was.
What is?
Let's Google what is Twink.
What is Twink? Now she makes cakes professionally. Maybe we'll move away from Twink. If anybody wants to text in and explain Twink, give a definition, please do it on the socials.
That's a good. Guessing that's her stage name. Yeah.
Yeah. She wasn't a young gay man that was enjoyed by bears. Yeah, it was
It's
before
not like
that.
Twink Murphy or something.
Adele King. Adele King is an Irish entertainer, better known as Twink. She was a mother of singer. So she's it's a mother of a singer. Oh, no way. So one of her daughters, Chloe,
Is very famous. Yeah.
is in
Celtic women.
Celtic Women.
Yeah, which is
Unbelievable.
they're actually really good, even though they basically dance with their breasts and sing from the tits. You know those.
So Twink is-
Yeah.
So Twink's an entertainer and she's made an entertainer. So there you go.
Yeah, she has,
Entertainer
yeah.
Factory. So that's Twink.
But
So
she, had
where were we? Yeah.
she was one of the first people to get divorced in Ireland when it was like a big deal, and all these voicemails came out of her telling her husband, who was the oboe player in the RT orchestra, like, zip up your Mickey, you're nothing but a sheep and a whore and a wah, wah, wah. It was so fun. It was just hilarious.
Flashing your oboe all over
Yeah,
town.
yeah, fucking sticking your oboe into everybody's orchestra. And so those were leaked, and it was the making of her, really. She
The
got a
cassette
second
tapes.
wind.
The cassette tapes were leaked.
Yeah. And everybody was really shocked. I was like, I wasn't shocked. I thought she really needed to do more, like, you know.
She definitely leaked
Yeah.
those herself.
She definitely.
She was listening back to those. And she's like, "These are fucking great."
Yeah, deadly boss.
And she was famous for doing toilet roll ads. So if anyone wants to Google the Jumbo's toilet roll ads, they were sensationally popular in the 80s and 90s, where she would pretend she and her friend were servants in this your lordship's house, and they were putting in the Jumbos everywhere. And I don't really know what happened, but it was huge. She was so big that she did the Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, or Desh, and she pretended to be a cleaning lady and came on, but it was too shocking. They couldn't handle it.
Speaking of toilet roll, Bob Hennigan was on, and he references. I think it was CJ has a joke about toilet roll, if I remember correctly from the weekend. Yeah, let's listen to Bob Hennigan.
No, my some achievement of my life in Galway is I have a degree in film. That was better than my parents' reaction. For a moment, it was my parents' reaction. Any film students here? No, they never raise their hands anyway. It's always someone else goes, he is. He made the same mistakes that you made. If you are thinking of doing a film degree, this is it. This is what having a film degree. Voted most likely to succeed, and apparently this is it. I do have ideas for movies I'd like to make. I have an idea for a movie where an alien hunter comes to the planet Earth to track down and kill all the pedophiles. That's going to be called Child Predator. Child Predator. Some of you not laughing there because you're like, I want to see that film be made. Fuck that. I had a very strange heckle one night where a lad put up his hand and went, clearly stoned, went, you could just call that Child Predator squared. And I was like, no, mate, that's going to read as Child Predator 2. the worst sequel ever made. Like, not a fucking chance. For those of you visiting Ireland, I think we're mostly Irish, except for the people up there, the Essex and Newcastle people who are doing a spin-off of The Only Way is Essex and Geordie Shore, which I'm looking forward to next year. It's a hierarchy, you know, you can have movies, TV shows, adverts can get you into the industry. And I think we could all agree we could do with some better adverts on Irish TV. Because if the adverts on Irish TV at the moment are to be believed, we apparently live in a world where toilet paper is so absorbent that if you wipe for a little bit too long, you're going to end up chronically dehydrated. All of the moisture sucked out of your body into the thirst pockets. End up in the emergency room down in the local hospital where the nurse shouting, "Quick, a dash of drip, he's been using the Charmin Ultra again."
Bob Hannigan. Bob Hannigan. Excellent stuff, Bob. And that was a good link too. Well done, Eddie, there.
Yeah, I'm glad I
It's like
remembered
toilet paper.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bob Hannigan there. Like at first I was like, well, yeah, I'm sure he does wipe his ass with toilet paper. And it's like, oh no, yeah, he's bit. Speaking of toilet paper, this next act, he definitely probably uses it.
It was actually connected. So
I
back
went-
to Britain's Got Talent.
Oh yeah, Britain's Got Talent.
So you were approached on Insta.
Approached on Insta. So I said I'd take the phone call.
Was it their official page? Or was it just someone going, hey, I work for...
some guy called Dan, you know, one of these real, like, it's kind of gender neutral, kind of 25-year-old in a t-shirt, you know, like the kind of floats around and does yoga all the time in his mind. Hi, I love your stuff. It's so amazing. I'm like, really? But then he had actually watched stuff and he's like, this bit could work, this bit, because I was like, okay, you've done a bit of homework in my tight 2 minutes of material that is family acceptable, which is me introducing myself and me saying goodbye. Good fucking night. Good night.
You get through your whole set.
Fucking oh.
You get through your whole set clean, and then you just can't hold it in any
All right,
longer.
thank you. Suck a dick, Britain. Thank you.
So and then,
800 years oppression, and then you just like you're flipping the bird right to the camera, wherever the camera's.
I also forgot that I'm not British, of course, and I'm Irish. I should be on Ireland's Got Talent.
Yeah, but no one watches that.
Nobody.
Is that still getting produced?
They probably do.
I don't
Yeah,
think so.
No, I don't think it's been produced for a few years.
All right.
Ever
It's
since
tough.
Twink was on it.
Yeah. She would be the ideal presenter for Britain's
Yeah,
Ireland's
she'd
Got
be a
Talent.
great judge.
Yeah.
Louis Walsh is on Britain's Got Talent a lot, isn't he?
Yeah.
Alongside our mate Jason Byrne.
Oh, Jason. Well, that was Ireland's Got Talent. Jason
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ireland's Got Talent.
He was great.
No, but then Louis did it. Ireland's Got Talent as well.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, so so he's teased it out. So then they asked me and I still haven't sent it to them. I need to send them 5 minutes of clean material so they can vet it.
And how long ago was that?
Last week.
All right.
And they also want me to go and do the audition on Saturday. But I don't think I will.
Nah, stuff it.
It's not the classy choice to do. It's not like who's going to think of like Dylan Moran would have done this, or David O'Doherty, or all my heroes like Bertie Ahern definitely would have done it.
Politician.
He's not a comedian, but that's the type of person. That's the level you're at. It's a second-hand car salesman way of getting famous.
Yeah, and now we have Bertie Ahern on Britain's Got Talent, demonstrating how to make the slickest bribe ever.
How to pass a brown envelope with it. You know, it'd be like a magician trick. Now you see it, now you don't.
Yeah, imagine.
And now check your pocket, judge number one. Oh my God, it's in my pocket. It's a brown envelope.
I'm inspired by women who have a tampon in their sleeve. They're amazing at doing it. So use that tampon in your sleeve energy, woman to woman. Yeah.
No strings attached.
Yeah. Because you do that when you're passing a tampon to another woman in an office. Like you just do this weird. You guys don't know.
2022, and you still can't show tampons in the office.
Yeah, it should be like, there you go.
You should be throwing it across the office.
Yeah, it should be a bag thrown across the whole.
Yeah, but it's like a sleeve action. But I always
You know what
It should
those-
be used tampons thrown across the office. Smacked
if guys
against.
had periods, that's what you guys
Darn
would
right.
do.
But you know those waste paper baskets, you know, the bins in the corner of a room with the basketball ring above it.
Yeah.
That'd be that for lads.
Yeah.
Use tampons if we
Yeah.
get periods for sure. Like, oh, it's in it. You know? But I think you're so proud to pass a tampon these days. Like, you know those Nerf torpedoes that whistle when you throw
Yeah.
them. Should be like that. Tampon
Yeah.
in. You could do it. 'Cause
Yeah,
there's
they could
space there.
redesign the tampons with little wings on the end.
Yeah, Nerf's got
Specifically for, yeah.
And
Send
just
it
take
to
them.
all your mates. Yeah, I've got one. So that's it. But yeah, Bertie, yeah, he could also cover himself in stick-proof material like Teflon, and then people throw stuff on. Nothing sticks. That's his other talent.
Covered in goose fat.
Yeah, just it all falls off. So yeah, I think, guys, having spoken to you, I'm not going to do it.
Also, you said something about
and they kept trying to get a sad story from me. They're like,
sad story.
That's how you get in.
Yeah,
that's
they were
how
like,
you get
and we
in.
know we don't want to, I feel awful for asking this. You feel awful for asking this, but do you have any kind of like hard things in your life?
Do you have any trauma?
Yeah,
Then they hold the microphone right up to your mouth.
And I was like, no, I don't. And they're like, oh, that's fine. That's fine.
It should be called Britain's Got Trauma.
Yeah.
The talent is completely secondary. Like they always open with the trauma.
Yeah, a
It's like,
5-minute story, like inserted clip.
he was
of
hit by a
them.
bus and then survived cancer, and now he's going to drink a glass of water on stage.
And everyone's like, whoa, it didn't come out of his bus wounds. Woo!
So they wanted me, and I mean, I suppose I could tell them about my alcoholism, and then by the time I get back on Britain, I could tell to be back in the booth, really obviously, like with a little, on the
When
stage.
you make it to boot camp, you're just getting hammered in the jacuzzi.
Yeah, even pretending, I'm just like, yeah.
But like they would love that because they'd be like,
They
we
would,
knew
yeah.
about the Irish. They're all bloody alcoholics. Like they'd.
Yeah, so I think it's not the classy choice. I'm not going to do it. On Republican grounds, of course. My grandfather
course,
didn't die for Ireland just so I could go on Britain's Got Talent.
Yeah, the IRA would start back. Fucking
would.
Britain's Got Talent. She's Irish. What's going on? We didn't fight for this.
Yeah.
The blow up, the X's above the things. They were just like they'd blow them up.
Yeah. I'd have to renounce my membership of Sinn Féin.
Yeah, but the other thing is, as I was mentioning before, you have no control over how they edit it. Because
they can cut they can cut you to shit.
Yeah, I've had comedian mates that like you watch it and you're like, ooh, that didn't do well at all. And then I was talking to them afterwards. They're like, it wasn't amazing. Like, I didn't get a standing ovation, but I got laughs. Like, it wasn't horrible. But they make it look, depending on the story arc they want of the character or the whole show, they're like, we need a few people to not do well. Don't make it. You have no control.
You want to come in with the most extreme trauma possible, so then they will edit you to look better.
Yes.
If you come in with no trauma and any element of smugness, they're like, we're going to edit the fuck out of you. You're done. But if you come
I'd have
in
to
with
come out like this, like...
Yeah.
I've got no vagina. I don't know what could be my trauma.
To instantly just go, what's the trauma? Just go on, my grandma that I love so much just dropped me off at the door 3 minutes ago. And then her car, she pulled away waving, got cleared out by a bus. That minute. You're in. They don't even have to. Do you want to know what kind of talent? No, it doesn't matter.
Come on with a video call of your grandmother on stage. You're like, sorry, I'm just calling. Oh my God, no! A bus crashes into her. And then you go, I better do my set now.
The most unrealistic bit about that whole story is that
she's getting killed. You're on stage. Beep, beep. The ambulance is there. Everyone's just watching. Beep. No! Everyone's standing up, clapping.
Then a bunch of white supremacists start beating her up, and you're like, no!
Everyone's like, get her through. And then they all of them fight to push the gold buzzer. All confetti is coming over you while you're on stage crying over your grandma's dying there and then.
Every person in the audience is wiping their face with tissue.
Get her through. Final round, straight through.
That is the funniest comedian I've ever seen. She deserves.
Are you going to go to A&E? Are you going to go straight to the next round? But the most unrealistic thing about that.
And then you make it to the final, and then you go, right, Granddad, I'm going to ring you at 8:05 p.m. Make sure you're standing on the edge of a cliff or something. Like if you want.
Kind of like in Father Ted when he keeps ringing that guy who keeps being in awkward situations and when it falls off the cliff.
Things,
yeah.
But
I mean, it's not realistic to think that I would still have living grandparents, although I sometimes pretend I do in front of younger men so they think I'm young. Like, oh, she has a grandmother who's alive. She's definitely not. Like, my granddad was born in 1898.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
For real?
For real.
He's not alive still, is he?
Oh, yeah, he is. Wait, I'll ring him. Let me see.
He's alive right now. Oh.
I don't have a 124-year-old granddad. No, he died in the 60s.
Same. Wow, 1898 and he's kicking. That's great.
Oh my God, that is good,
He's
man.
just about. He's not.
He's a brain in a jar. Yeah, he's on a trolley.
I never met him. Like my dad, he died when my dad was 20 or something like that. He's just really old farmer who married late in life. And then my dad was he had my dad old, and then my dad had me when he was. I thought it was so old. I thought my dad was so old when I was young, but he was 36 or 7 when he had me.
That's amazing. So
That's normal now.
Your family of 3 generations spans 120 years.
Yeah.
Like, whereas, like,
he knew people who were in the famine.
He knew
Like,
people in the
yeah,
famine.
yeah.
You go to, like,
That's amazing.
Ballymun, you've got 3 generations in like 12 years.
Yeah.
And you're like, you go to Kilkenny. Is,
I know.
10 times the
Yeah,
length.
Colin O'Regan's granddad was born in 1836. No, that couldn't be right. No, it was he's even 1885. That's really old because his dad was born in 1930.
That's nice. And do you regularly get dates of people's grandfather's birth? Is this a hobby of yours? Is it?
It kind of is. I like it because sometimes I'm really shocked when people are like, "Oh, my granddad is. I'm going to go out, I'm going out to the pub with my granddad, or I'm going, like swinging with my granddad." I'm like, "Oh my God, how can you be friends with your granddad? Like my granddad is dead." It just makes them seem really young when they talk about their grandparents.
Yeah, but also like think of what has happened in history in just that generation, that 100 years. You waved goodbye to the Titanic.
Yeah.
You saw the moon landing, the birth of the plane, the car, the internet, like everything that we know, and that like they remember not having any of that. Just your grandfather.
Yeah, I know. Sure, even my dad, when he was born in 1945, so just at the end of the war, they wouldn't have had an oven. He only wore shoes in the wintertime. They wouldn't have had a radio until he was like 10. So that so I sometimes get annoyed with him. Like he doesn't do birthdays or he never buys presents or anything like that. But I'm like, they definitely, he do with Santa. They definitely didn't have Santa then. Like, he's just from a totally different
No calendars.
Era. No, I think
Just
they
the
had a
seasons.
calendar.
Just the seasons.
Yeah.
Just
They didn't have time.
No.
Yeah.
They didn't
just
have
look at the sun.
gender.
They didn't have gender.
You're all one gender, and if you have a baby, I guess you're a girl this time.
Yeah. They didn't have anything, and they didn't have But what he did to one really weird story, he said there was only one single mother in the whole area, because otherwise women used to just mysteriously go on butter making courses for 6 months, 2 months to a year, and then come back. But now he realizes they were gone to institutions. And there was one woman, and she kept getting pregnant. She's a friendly woman, and he had to go up to her house one day when he was a small boy. And she had 4 kids, and they were in hay, in straw. She didn't have nappies for them or anything. They were just rolling around in straw like little animals.
What?
Yeah, in a way, I'd say if you were a total hippie, you're like, yeah, I'm raising my child in straw. Everybody would be like, that's amazing, So I don't know
Her
if
name's
she's a
Twink.
ultimate hipster or a really sad story. I'm not too sure. Yeah, sorry, that was a bit sad. Maybe you should edit that
That was
out.
a sad one. Yeah, there was no punchline at all. That
Funny
was,
anecdote.
And the abject poverty of Kilkenny in the 1950s was
Yeah.
tragic.
I tell you, you're right. People
That's
would
your good.
choose
That's
to
your
do
intro.
that now.
That's your intro
Yeah.
for Britain's Got Talent.
That's it. I was born in straw.
In straw,
Crawling around with my 3 brothers and/or sisters, not sure.
in the 1980s in Kilkenny. There were no nappies.
In the 80s, there was no McDonald's meal deals. There was nothing.
Yeah, there was no Tesco. Imagine
Yeah.
Quinsworth. Oh my
No
God.
Express, no grocers were an Express.
She's gone all the way from that to 100 million followers on OnlyFans.
Yeah.
What a turnaround!
Making it mint.
Yeah.
Making it mint on it. Yeah, you were talking about. Eddie rang me the other day, and he's like, "I was just on a bus."
Yeah, I was on Dublin bus, and there was a lady. Well, what would you do, right? If you're on the bus and a pregnant lady comes on, and you're sitting down, there's no other seats. What would you do, Damo?
I'd stand up.
You stand up, Aideen.
I'd stand up, but be careful, because unless you can see that dilated cervix and that little baby waving out at you as she's coming out, sometimes women are not pregnant.
Funny you should say that.
Funny you should say
Funny you should say that. Because guess what?
Thanks for ruining the punchline to the
Guess
whole
what, Eddie
story.
did?
You can edit that out.
No, let's not. No, what happened was, right, so she came on. She was holding her back, like that
Yeah.
pregnant woman thingy.
Yeah.
That they do. No offense to any pregnant, but they often hold their back because
Yes.
the distribution of
Yeah,
weight.
they've got another human being in their guts.
I'm sure it's not easy, but so she came on.
So compassionate.
I'm sure childbirth, it might be difficult, I don't know.
All right, so she came on the bus, and I was like, "Oh, please take my seat." She was like, "Nah, it's grand." I got up. I was like, "No, please." She sat down, and then she opened up her bag and took a can of cider, of
Oh my
Druid
God, that's
cider out.
hilarious.
I started drinking, and I was like, as you said, Aideen, I got duped. She wasn't pregnant at all. She was just fucking
a beer gut.
alcoholic with a bad back.
Yeah. actually, you get a swollen liver when you drink too much, and especially if you're chronic alcoholic, which means long term over a sustained period of time. And a lot of the people have that pot belly. Yeah, so
Big
she
swollen
was just,
liver, yeah.
But you still should have given her the seat because she is incapacitated.
And
so
she's
I
big.
think you did the right thing.
Bad back as well.
Yeah, I was a bit run down too. Like I had a sniffly nose.
hard,
it was
though.
a half-hour ride standing up. I was like, "Can I?" Part of me was thinking, "Can I go back now and tell her like, hey, look, I'm sorry, but I thought you were pregnant.
Yeah.
Actually, that's why I gave you the seat. But clearly, you're not. So
And even if you are, you're a bad pregnant woman, so you don't deserve the seat anyway. Give me that can.
That's not just apple juice.
No.
I'll let you know.
But it's a hard call. Like you see somebody on the train or the bus, and you know maybe I should give that person a seat. But you can't just go on how old you think they are. You have to go on how old do they think that you think they are. So if it's like somebody like my mom who's nearly 70, but she thinks she's really glamorous and she won't pay the OEP fare because she wants people to think she's young. Don't give her a seat, even though she's 70, because she doesn't want, no, I'm not old. You know?
yeah.
So there's a lot of maths involved, isn't there?
I'll get up for like a 35-year-old just to give her a nag. Just make her. Hey, you're getting on. Take my seat. How you doing?
Yeah, that's right.
Hi, my name's Eddie.
I can be a toy boy if you want.
Yeah. I can.
Great.
Do
I
you want
love
this hemorrhoid
cougars.
cushion?
Love cougars.
Yeah.
There's
Calling
that
people
hemorrhoid.
cougars when they're not cougars is a very good neck because you're
Yeah.
complimenting them, but you're also
Bit of a
yeah,
dig.
bit of a dig.
Bit of a
Yeah,
dig.
Bit
yeah.
of a dig. I like that. Like you give a in Ireland, you can't give a compliment without an insult.
Yeah, we're
know,
natural neggers.
yeah,
so
it's
true.
great.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like-
the land of
Fine
neg.
line there.
It is. It's
Yeah.
like you look
We're
great for
natural
an
neggers. I was like, oh, glad she pronounced that correctly.
Natural neggers.
negative.
Yes.
Negative. It's
Yeah.
like, you look great for an owl bollocks.
Yeah.
It has to be. You
Yeah,
can't just give a compliment. It has to be a.
Yeah.
I love how
remember- yeah.
direct your neg is.
Yeah, well, like when I first, because if someone would compliment me on whatever, like nice beard for a bleeding homeless person or something, whatever, I've
Yeah.
had things like that before. Like you can't get a compliment without that was really funny for a prick.
Yeah.
There's always something. So I was like, okay, when I first moved, I was like, so this is the custom. This
Yeah,
is what
it
you
is.
do.
Yeah,
So,
I
but
remember-
I went way too harsh too soon. I was like, you're beautiful. But what the rest of your body? What the hell happened there? Like
Yeah.
You got to balance it.
Yeah, I
It's
remember-
a bigger thing in Dublin than it is in other. Like in Galway, people are more friendly and
They are
kind of
so
easygoing.
friendly, yeah.
Than in Dublin, yeah, it's like you get the compliment and then you get a smack after. It has to be that way. But in Galway, people would be like, "You're looking well. I hope your soul is full of joy today." And then they're on their way, floating away. You're like, "This place is magic."
And then they
you
yell
go
out,
back-
for a prick! Sorry, I'm from Dublin. It just came out.
I remember.
Sorry about that.
I did this photo shoot or something. I was taking photos of my ex-boyfriend who's a comedian years ago, and they
Ooh,
looked
who
really
do
good.
tell? Join our Patreon and we'll tell you who it is.
Listen, there's been more clowns on me than the trampolines in the circus. Like you couldn't, you couldn't.
Honking their nose.
And he looked really well, and I said to him, "God, you look like a model." It just came out, and then I froze, and they just went, "A model Egypt," and he kept slagging me about that.
The model Egypt.
The model Egypt. He didn't even know what the word Egypt was. He was American. He's like,
Well, that narrowed it down a little bit. Okay,
Yeah.
down to
Yeah.
like there's about
100
15 people it could be done.
No,
Nothing.
So
Aideen's looking to watch. She's gonna scoot off for a gig.
I have to
So-
go.
yeah,
What's
this
the-
is
what's
so
the gig?
busy.
Well, he says gig, but it's I have to get a facial
And then go to a gig.
and then go to a gig. I have to look good.
I was
for
trying to make
those
it
gigs.
showbiz, but yeah. It's,
Yeah, I mean these things. I mean, I have to go. My showbiz lifestyle is pretty hectic.
well, what gig are you doing tonight?
I am doing no gig tonight.
No gig.
No
Okay.
gig,
I guess I
no
was being
cry.
A
fancy.
night
Yeah.
of chilling.
Tomorrow, though, by the time the facial has like worn off and all the redness is gone, I'll be doing a charity gig in the Workman's. I think you might be involved yourself,
I am
Eddie.
emceeing,
You're
yes.
And,
It's in association with the Craic Den as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
association, but not actually the crackdown. It's just kind of like
I'm emceeing it.
Got two
Yeah.
gigs on tomorrow. We're zipping and zapping.
Zipping and zapping. It's
Yeah.
for Movember.
yes, indeed.
And in fact, by the time this comes out, it'll be 2 weeks ago. So do go on, attend the show, sure.
Okay, so I'll go now. I'll leave you, and all you both.
Is this going to be a needlesy facial?
No, it's just. Oh, it is. Yeah. Yes. It's called
Which
Profilo.
areas?
So you could Profilo. So you just get. They put it's moisturizer they inject into your face though.
Oh, that's
I'll
nice.
call back afterwards and you can like rate me out of 10
We
but
can
now
put-
and rate me out of 10 afterwards, and then
Yeah.
people say you look great for a fucking cunt. And so, but these are things you have to do. I'm 39. I'm clinging onto my youth. I've got 2 fuckable years left. I can extend it out to 3 if I
Cling
keep
on.
doing this.
And if it gets sad, then you can go on Britain's Got Talent. Just
I
like,
can.
I'm 39 and a half. And then the violin playing in the background.
Yeah.
When injections go wrong,
Yeah.
Her eyeball is now under her mouth.
Yeah.
listen to her jokes.
No one can understand you.
Yeah, I'm thinking of getting like I think people like getting a pair of tits on my back. What do you think about that? Would you like that now?
Yeah, that'd be great.
It'd be great for
For
hugs.
doing for hugs.
Oh, yeah.
And then for like doing a doggy style, because you know the man could just like be there. Like it's amazing.
Yeah,
I think it'd be great.
If you're doing a doggy style and you close your eyes, feels like you're in a threesome.
Exactly. Yeah, I need to up my
Yeah.
game because I'm 39. I have to offer loads more.
All those clowns will be honking their nose, and your back boobs, and then front boobs. There'll be honks everywhere in the trampoline.
What other organs can you attach to your body?
Yeah, so I was thinking maybe a bum on my stomach.
Well, that'd be good.
Good,
Oh, and then you get all those seats on the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone will be like, wow, she's got a great ass, or is she pregnant? Stand up, stand up.
Because people don't, it's weird because breasts are attractive, but if I had a breast here, like a perfect boob, everyone would be like sick in their stomach, you know?
But it's common enough for people to have third nipples.
Yeah, it is very common.
I was seeing a girl with a third nipple. I liked
Was it a surprise?
It was a surprise at first, but then I was like, where is that little baby?
Okay, that is gross.
Yeah. I
It was
had,
next to her belly button as well.
I had a friend
Next to her belly.
who had 2
It was on her
here.
back.
She had 2 down below her actual boobs, and we used to call them her doggy tits.
Ah. For real, dog.
Yeah. And then she, as soon as she got a job, she went to get like her moles removed. We were like, you're getting your nipples removed.
Oh,
we
that's
know."
terrible. Leave them on so then when you have kids, you can like lie down and feed them. You know, like lie down in the hay back in Kilkenny. Lie down in the hay, feed the kids.
Okay, guys, I better go. I'm going to tell the beautician Agnieszka everything that you were just talking about right now. She's going to hate it.
Oh, dude.
Thanks so much.
Let's say for Aideen McQueen.
Aideen McQueen.